Oi, oi, metalheads. How was everyone tonight? Welcome back to another Let's Get Heavy show. And we've got a busy one tonight, lads and lasses. And everyone else. Don't want to segregate anybody. So we're going to be joined very shortly by none other than Collapse of Colour, whose new EP will be out at midnight. I hope you're looking forward to it. We're going to be doing a playthrough of that EP, by the way, folks, and it's going to be an absolute banger. And the name of the EP is For All the Days Decayed. Love that name already. And during this interview, by the way, folks, we're running a giveaway, if you have not already noticed. So to end our giveaway, it is ! Ticket in chat. And you'll be within a chance to win one of the lovely new Reaper t-shirts, which I do believe was made by Jack. Don't quote us on that, I could be wrong, but I think it was made by Jack. And one of their beanies, which has also been recently released in the last couple of weeks or so. And then after the chat, after the interview, we'll do the draw for the winner. The winner will then DM the band with your t-shirt size, and they will then get that out to you as soon as possible. Afterwards, we'll be taking just a quick break, and then announcing the next 3 bands for Let's Get Heavy Fest. What's happening in November? November? Come on, Stephen. Come on. Fucking hell. Sort your life out. Happening in August. Hey, dear me. The lads aren't even here yet, and I'm fucking up. So, joining us tonight, we've got 3 members. We've got Evan, Jack, and Daniel. Let's stop here with me waffling on, and let's bring these boyos on, eh? Lads, you are now live on Twitch. Welcome.
Hello.
Can everyone hear them all right? I'm hoping so. Everything seems to be in the green on my side in OBS, so I'm kind of assuming so, yes. Firstly, lads, can I
can hear everything sound.
Firstly, though, lads, can I just say thank you very much for joining us tonight, doing this interview. I know you've probably been busy with getting this EP prepped, tours, gigs, etc., and God knows what else. So thank you very much for taking time out. You're busy.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it. Thanks for having us, man.
Always appreciated. So, as you know, because you guys recorded, your EP's coming out at midnight.
Yes.
And we're gonna be playing that, everybody, at midnight, and I cannot wait for it. But before we get into that bad boy, just get a bit of background information on yourselves. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people in here who might not know who you are. So we'll start off just to find out more about you. So where's the band from exactly?
All over, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Each one of us lives in like a different part of the northeast.
Right.
So you've got like Ev's from Aycliffe, Dan's from near Redcar. Where is it again, Dan, specifically?
Relton.
That's the one. I live in Darlington, and Tom lives in Middlesbrough. So it's kind of like all over.
Well, I was going to say, because reading, when I've been like doing like a bit of back history on yourselves, I was getting like saying that Middlesbrough was kind of the home for the band.
Yeah, we rehearsed it on in Middlesbrough, so we kind of like I guess.
Right. No, sweet. That must be a nightmare having to travel here. Is it far as a travel to Middlesbrough, or is it just a short drive, is it? Or?
Half hour down the road.
About 40 minutes for me.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but that's northeast a bit, innit? You got lots of kind of smaller places surrounding a few bigger places.
Yeah. So how did you all meet then? Have you all grown up together, sort of thing, gone to school or something, or?
Well, Dan and Tom knew each other for years beforehand, didn't you?
Yeah.
Me and Dan knew each other from being in bands before, and then once our old band broke up, that's when we got in contact with Jack. Anybody join my band? That's how we found Jack.
Right.
That's pretty much been it. Me and Dan have been in bands for a couple of years. Dan and Tom have been in bands. Yeah.
Nice one.
Mm-hmm.
And how long has Collapse Colour been a unit for, a band?
I think it was late
2017,
2017.
Right at the
like
end of 2017.
December 2017, we got together.
Right. So how did it go during lockdown for you? Was it a bit of a pain in the backside, or did you just use that time to write?
I wrote an absolute crap ton of music in lockdown. Like I was on furlough, so you know, obviously you can't leave your house. I didn't have any work to do. I just sat at Ableton and just wrote loads.
Is that where Consume was during lockdown? Was it?
Honestly, like
Yeah.
with everything that happened, that whole passage of time is so blurry. Like trying to work out when things were. Do you know what I mean by that? Like it's like almost 2 years, and it's hard to kind of place when things happened.
Yeah.
I think it probably was. I think it must have been.
Yeah,
Well,
looking up, because it was 2020 or 2021 when he was released Consume?
21 was Consume, so I imagine it was probably written during lockdown.
Yeah, it probably would have been. Yeah.
So what made each of you want to pursue music? What made you want to be a band?
For me, it was, well, if we're going really far back, it was probably Grang and Scuzz when I first decided I was going to get into music. I maybe would have been about 13.
Damn right.
And it was, I remember watching the highlights for Download Festival 2007 and seeing like the way vocalists would command the audience and coming across Slipknot and stuff like that. That was when I realised I need to be a vocalist. So I ended up going to college and university, studying it, so I could implement it when I got into a band. Really, it's been my goal ever since I was a kid. I don't really want to do anything else. I can't do anything else. I'm not good at anything else.
Bless you. Well, you're a damn fine singer, that's for sure. I'll give you that, Evan. So, and Download 2007, that was my very first download as well. That was my very first download.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And what about yourself, Jack, Dan? How did you guys get into music? What made you want to be in a band sort of thing?
Yeah, go on.
Well, again, it all started when I was a kid. My dad would give me like these early punk records, like The Clash and all that,
Nice.
and Sex Pistols and all that kind of stuff. So I just grew up on all that, and then just got really into the punk scene. Started playing. Well, my mum was like, "Nah, I'm not going to get you anything like a guitar or anything because I'm not going to stick with it or whatever." And I was like badgering her, like, "Oh, nah, I'm going to do it," and all that kind of shit. And eventually she caved in. And because everyone around me was playing guitar, I wanted to be a bit different. So I ended up playing bass. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yourself, Jack?
It probably stems from my dad as well. Like, 'cause he's really musical. Like, he's like a grade 8 organ player or whatever, doing classical music and stuff.
Is he?
Yeah. And I'm like, I was classically trained when I was younger. I got like grade 5 French horn. I was a band geek and everything. But when we'd go on car journeys on holiday, like Cornwall or whatever, but we had one of those multi-CD changes where you can load up like 10 CDs and put them on shuffle or whatever.
Yeah.
And my dad would have in like Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and even stuff like kind of King Crimson and Emerson, Lake and Palmer and loads of prog and stuff. So I kind of got into rock music and wanted to learn guitar. So this started off like everyone does, going on ultimate guitar, like learning chords for Oasis songs and stuff. But my older brother kind of got me like metalcore. Like As I Lay Dying, All That Remains, Chimera, Shadows Fall, that sort of era.
Oh, no, what?
And like just when you hear the riffs like from those bands, it's just like, yeah, got to give me some of that.
You mentioned Chimera. That was like one of my all-time favorites growing up. Mark Hunter, one of the fantastic vocalists. Such an underrated. I'm absolutely gutted that band actually split up. But touch wood. They're doing a little reunion tour in June, so hopefully they miss what they're doing and then get back together.
A lot of those songs Shadows Fall did as well, but I think it's just they do like a one-off show at like Furnace Fest in America or whatever, or these kind of Blue Ridge rock festivals, the massive metal festivals in America, but I don't think they ever like intend to come over.
I've seen Shadows Fall once, which was on the the Black Crusade tour with Machine Head and Trivium,
Oh,
which was
nice.
it was Arch. It was a weird one because I had Dragon Force, and then Shadows Fall, Arch Enemy, and then a joint headline with Machine Head and Trivium. But I just didn't think Dragon Force fit in that bill, to be honest with you. But
I know what you mean.
It worked really well. It was absolutely fantastic gig. Like, so when you saying your dad was into classical music, did he teach you? Did he play classical music, or was he just a fan of it?
He plays it. Like we've got an organ at my parents' house. Like he's constantly playing classical music. Like, he is really, really good. He never taught me, but because of that influence, I kind of did music lessons from quite young. And as I say, like I was in kind of school orchestras and stuff doing my French horn, and like played at Disneyland when I was like 12.
So can you actually like read sheet music then, can you? Because a lot of like metal musicians don't really pay attention to that, do they?
I quit when I was like 15, and I haven't done any kind of sight reading since. Like when I learned guitar, I had the musical skills and the musical theory, but I never applied it to guitar because you just had tabs, so you didn't need to.
Yeah.
So I kind of probably shot myself in the foot a little bit there. But so short version, I can read music, but I'm super rusty.
Yeah. I mean, like when I played guitar, mine was just a case of like you say, a guitar tablet jack. So when I played anyway, I haven't picked up my guitar for God knows how long. I'll probably collecting dust in the next room, to be honest with you. And I'd hate to think what kind of state they're in. But have you actually ever brought any of that classical element to any of your music, or you ever thought about bringing it to other music?
I occasionally do write string sections, like with MIDI. I don't think we've used any except when we did the like Freefall Reimagined. I feel that probably brought some of that, but I think it's more things that kind of help me subconsciously, to be honest. Like I'm not thinking actively about the theory. I think it just kind of informs the decisions I make, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It'd be interesting because you hear like Metallica, and the Architects have done it now with the orchestra behind them, and it sounds absolutely sounds amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
On the line, it might work for you.
I am a sucker for like a string section in a metalcore song. I really am.
Are we going to be blackened metalcore?
Definitely get it done, lads. Get it done. So what is the meaning behind Collapse of Colour? How did you come with that name?
Daniel?
Oh. Yeah, Daniel.
Well, it's basically like a kind of a state of mind. Well, in my eyes, it was like a state of mind where you just feel so bad that you don't like see any color in anything. Everything's just like gray nothingness. So yeah, it's a bit miserable, really. But in my mind, that's kind of what it is.
Very deep, heavy.
Yeah. Just like, you know.
Have you been
color, no life,
have you
no
been
nothing.
sitting with that name for a while in your head? Did you ever just Clapscotch sounds like it'll be a good band name one day?
Well,
or was it going to be a song in a previous band?
No, actually, to be fair, well, when I first moved up here, when I first started jamming with Tom, we sort of were more of a hardcore kind of outfit, but I had the name Collapse of Colour, and I was like, oh, that sounds pretty good. I Googled it to see if there was any other bands that had the same name. No, they didn't. So I was like, I'll have that one then. And then
get it registered, trademarks, and anyone can nick it.
Yeah. So yeah, it just came out of that, and then now we're here with it. Really
cool. I take it there was no like from yourself, Evan and Jack and Tom as well. Did you all just agree to it? Yeah,
I heard it and I loved it.
You loved it straight away, yeah. Yourself, Jack.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was already the name when I joined, so I think.
Yeah,
did you join later? Did you, Jack?
Yeah.
So I take it they started off with just yourself, Evan, and Dan, and then you.
the formation of the band was really our old band With Eyes Open, who actually had Nathan from Cast and Teffer in, a little fun fact.
Oh, right.
Once that band disbanded, I was like, I was going to like try and like maybe keep away from music for a little bit and maybe not pursue it for a little bit and just like try and sort my life out. And then Dan messaged us. It was with Callum, who was our guitarist at the time, Callum Abbott, from the previous band. Used to were forming a band, and then he asked me to join. And then Callum became too busy with his tattoo studio, and that's when we ended up getting Jack.
Oh, nice one.
I think we wrote about half a song with Callum, and then we got Jack, and then Tom joined. Really, Tom might have been beforehand. I don't know.
I was just about to ask, how did you get Tom?
I think just from me and him were jamming before. I was just like, well, I've got this new group. We need a drummer. You play drums. Come and drum for. That was it, really.
You're a drummer. You'll do.
You'll do.
Yeah.
I just come over here, start drumming for us. Get behind the kit.
And thankfully, he's all right at drums. So yeah.
Yeah.
He's an absolutely cracking drummer. Absolutely cracking. So, how would you describe the music that you typically create?
We say melodic metalcore, don't we? And I think the intention behind that is because we are a metalcore band, but like a lot of modern metalcore is very much heavy. It's focused on being as heavy and as down-tuned as it can be without being deathcore, in my humble opinion. And if you say you're a metalcore band, I think people might expect something more akin with Alpha Wolf nowadays. And like, I don't think that really describes us very well.
Normally, when I hear metalcore, I always go straight to Killswitch. Because I feel like
as do I, because I think because we're of a certain age, I think like younger people. I think for me anyway, metalcore is kind of quite different now to back then, and a lot of those bands like Killswitch are kind of more part of just the metal scene now.
Yeah, it's definitely evolved. It's like the best way I can think of it is modern metalcore is closer to what deathcore was back in the day.
Yeah.
And modern deathcore is now taking traits from metalcore by being more commercial and having clean vocals and stuff like that.
Yeah. I wasn't a massive deathcore fan. I think like the only band I had really heard of at the time was Job for a Cowboy, which I didn't really dig. And I think it's just in the last few years, especially when I heard Slaughter to Prevail, that just changed everything for me. When it goes, to me, deathcore is now becoming what metalcore was back in the 2000s for me.
I'm a deathcore kid through me.
Through and through, like I say, I'm a thrash guy. You see, I absolutely love thrash metal. You know, Exodus and Testament, that sort of thing. Creator, I can speak to you all day with thrash. So don't get us started, because otherwise we'll be here.
I like my thrash as well. Don't worry.
So I am a thrash guy, and deathcore, like I say, I've only getting into the last few years, and I absolutely love it now, because it's got all the groove elements to it, and like I say, it's now touching in with some of the clean vocals on top of that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So emotional metalcore, is that what we're kind of saying? So kind of like
like we're inspired by a lot of melodic hardcore as well, like KC being as an ocean. Quite like ambient vibey stuff too, and like we're quite, as far as metalcore goes, like this is for the guitar nerds. Most of our songs are either in drop D or drop C sharp. So like we're not even as down tuned as like Bullet for My Valentine.
Right.
So like I felt that like it needed something to differentiate it. Like it is metalcore, but it's kind of more informed by melodic hardcore and post hardcore. Probably.
I was gonna say, I think I hear a bit of post hardcore going in there, like Under Oath and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Under Oath.
That's a band I have not heard in a long time. A long time I haven't heard that name. So would you say those are the kind of bands that influenced you to form kind of Collapse of Colour? Like Under Oath?
Maybe overall, but for me musically, nah. Like my style's just really weird. But overall, probably, yeah.
I think we've all come in with different influences and different inspirations, and then you find like common ground, and also bring your own unique flavors to the table. I personally, as the songwriter, I don't think too hard about it. I just kind of just see what happens.
Yeah.
And if something happens to be inspired by a particular band or song, that kind of just happens by accident, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we touched on Evan getting into singing because yourself, Jack, your guitars and clean vocals. So how did yourself get into the vocals? Did you kind of just want to do both? But you've always wanted to be a guitarist and a vocalist.
To be honest, so as I say, when I started learning guitar, I was just kind of sitting down learning like Oasis songs on an acoustic guitar and stuff. I was singing from like quite an early age and had a handful of singing lessons at school. But at uni, I was actually just like the front man of a rock band, like literally just singing, occasionally picking up the guitar for certain songs, but I was just stood with a mic for most of it. So I was actually at the point of joining Collapse of Colour, I was probably more of a singer than a guitar player, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in my bedroom, I'm sat, riffing out and stuff. But when I was actually in bands and jamming, more often than not, I was the singer. Probably because singers are harder to find than guitar players. I don't know if that's controversial or not. I'd say it's probably true.
So you said you've all played in like different kind of bands growing up. Any of the names you like to share? Like what band name? See if we know any of them.
Oh, that's doubtful.
You won't know any of mine either.
No.
I can name all my bands, but you wouldn't have heard of them. The last one I had, one me and Dan were in with Nathan from Cast and Tefra, that was With Eyes Open. We did one EP and then split up. My band before that was called You're Next, which also, no, that wasn't Nathan. I think You're Next evolved into With Eyes Open. And then my first band was called Shotgun Syndrome. Awful.
Loving the names. Loving the names.
Yeah. Shotgun Syndrome, we had no idea what we were doing. You're Next, it was just me and a lad I knew at uni. We did an EP. And it was just me and him who wrote a drum machine. I had Sean from Cast and Tefra a feature on it when he was in Science Fiction. That was that song you played a couple of weeks back, Fuck Everything. And then obviously With Eyes Open, that's pretty much it really from as far as bands for me. I had like the odd one here and there. I did one called Cause Under Mutiny, and we were basically like an Infinite Annihilator rip-off. But that ended up going nowhere.
That's another name I haven't heard in a long time as well, Infinite Annihilator. It's a fucking weird name though, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Edgy.
Edgy as fuck.
Most definitely. Definitely. Not a band that you'll see Ed Sheeran collabing with.
Oh
No.
Carry on.
No, go on. What are we going
I
to
was going to say the band I was in at uni, it was called High State, and it was kind of like, I'd say there was a Muse influence and probably a Foo Fighters influence. Not my usual cup of tea, but I was just kind of happy to be making music and going to shows and getting pissed at that age.
I like it.
But I wrote a song about Breaking Bad because it was like around that time that was first coming out. It was called I Am the Danger, and it was like a sort of hard rock country. Do you remember Maylene and Sons of Disaster?
Mm,
Does anyone remember? It was kind of a bit like that, but it's like kind of rocky, kind of heavy with slide guitar and stuff, but also quite country.
Oh, right.
So that was fun. But
I do like a bit of country, so I'll have to try and remember that and get that checked out.
yeah.
Somebody who likes country?
Eh?
Somebody who likes country as well? I like a bit of country and I get the piss taken out of me for it.
What?
I love country.
It's like one of the most popular genres in the
Send them my way, Evan. Who's dissing you for liking country?
The internet.
The internet. Oh, get them sorted, mate. I love me some Willie Nelson.
Johnny Cash.
Oh,
Come
hell
with
yes.
me.
Yes.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
The internet hates everything that's popular, Evan. You know this.
Well, that's it. That's it. I mean, well, we're not just metal guys at the end of the day, are we? Yeah, I mean, we love all sorts of stuff. I mean, metal's probably our first love, but we're never just like just metal.
Oh, yeah.
Too right.
You know what I mean? So we can like other forms of metal just because we're bearded, long-haired, tattooed. You know what I mean? We do like other stuff. Internet.
They take it to me because I'm Taylor Swift. So
I like old school 90s rap as well. So there we go.
Yes,
Nice.
gangster rap.
Aye. The NWA and Biggie Smalls, that type of stuff. I absolutely love it.
I'm a big punk guy myself as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier on. Sex Pistols,
Yeah.
like classic band. So
yeah, I love all that stuff.
yeah,
And
exactly.
like all my old bands were like hardcore punk bands. One was called Boiler, one was called Subside. I've then again I've been in like 20 bands. They all just like
I was gonna
record
say,
a little bit,
did you
do
play?
loads of
Did
gigs
you play
stuff.
in any punk bands before going into the harder stuff?
Not really.
No.
No, I just sort of started playing in bands when I was like 12, 13, straight into it, full on. And yeah, just listening to like Anti-Flag, Rancid, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, never looked back really.
Nice.
Then started getting into metal. I got into metal a little bit later on than everyone else, I think. So I wasn't really like a metal head growing up. It was more just punk,
Yeah.
Mohicans, spiky jackets, and all that kind of shit.
Yes.
And then
get the big E on the
yeah.
back of your jacket.
yeah, that was me. Little
like
Daniel was very much like that. And then as I got older, I started. I mean, I'd always loved Slipknot and stuff like that. But then I got into metal quite late. So yeah, late bloomer.
Like Linkin Park, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Slipknot. That was like
Love them.
they were like my gateway. That got into the heavier stuff eventually. Do you know?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Same to be fair.
For me.
Yeah. I think it's the same for everyone roughly our age, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Linkin Park. So
when Meteora came out, I was like, yeah, this is fucking amazing. The album's just incredible.
I personally think Meteor is better than Hybrid Theory. I don't know how people
there
feel
we
about
go.
that.
That's a bold statement,
I
bro.
think that's the first time. I think that's the first time I've ever heard that. I personally will go with Hybrid Theory. Personally,
Yeah, I'd go with Hybrid Theory.
Well, before we touch on your EP, what's your thoughts on the Lost song by Linkin Park? Thoughts on that? Have you heard it?
I haven't checked it out.
I haven't had a chance. I haven't checked it out yet.
But I am going to give you a little fun fact. So you may have noticed that on our EP, track 4 is called Lost.
Yes.
Coincidentally, that is incredibly inspired by Linkin Park.
Really?
So that was a nice little coincidence.
I know. Yeah. To be honest with you, because Evan sent us the promos, etc. Before a couple of, I think it was last month or something, just before we're making this arrangement to do the interview, and I seen it, and then now that I've just asked about Lost from Linkin Park, it's like, oh fuck, they've got a song on their EP called Lost. So
yeah,
very coincidental there. Maybe we'll have some words with Mike Shinoda and say how he's been checking out what he's doing.
Well, how long have we had these songs? We've had
that one has been in the pipeline for a long time.
Oh, right, I see. So yeah. Maybe check your computer. You might have a computer bug or something. Mike Shinoda's like, yeah, this was released during Meteora, and they've just dubbed. I'm gonna listen to it at midnight. We're gonna compare the two. Right after it's finished, we'll play Lost last, and then we'll play Linkin Park last, just to compare the two.
I don't think we're winning that one anytime soon, are we, lads?
Yeah, don't compare me with Chester Bennington, please. That's not fair.
Yeah, we'll not. No. I'm sorry. But released at midnight is For All the Days Decayed, which is going to be your first EP since 2019, which was called Drowning Sharks. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, like I've said, we cannot wait to get that played at midnight. It's going to be brilliant. So, what's the story behind For All the Days Decayed? What's the meaning behind the name, first of all?
It's a line from Forgive Me, which is out tomorrow at 6. Well, obviously it's out on the EP, but the video's out tomorrow at 6. It kind of all goes back to COVID again, because a lot of the writing was done during that period. It's essentially about all the days that we just wasted and lost during that 1.5, 2 years of our lives.
Yeah. Wow. Very heavy. And how was this? How's the recording process differed from what you've done in the past. Do you have yous getting together as a band and yous wrote together, or is it just a case of do you record your own pieces at home sort of thing?
Generally, it is quite difficult with our where we all live, and not everyone drives and stuff. So the travel is a little awkward. So what kind of happens is I'll flesh out almost like a blueprint for a song on guitar. And then Dan will add his bass, and then Tom will add drums, will add vocals, and then you kind of built a demo from that. And then in terms of actually when we come to record it, me and Evan do like all the guitars and the vocals and stuff in his kind of home studio. Dan will record his bass at home. Tom, did he do real drums for the EP? I think he did, didn't he? I think he went to his mate.
Yes,
yeah. The drummers will know there's an argument between recording real drums versus doing it on MIDI, because the engineers are going to replace most of it anyway. So there's an argument there. But you what, Dan?
It's all in the symbols, isn't it? They say.
Yeah, Tom likes it. Right. He likes the subtleties of proper cymbal hits and stuff. So he records them with his mate Lilico, who he's in Bloke Chat Fellow, isn't he? I'm not making that up.
Yes, yeah, he's the drummer of Bloke Chat Fellow.
Yeah,
insane drummer.
Really good.
Yeah,
really good. Insane band, to be honest. Like the musicality level there's class.
So how do you how's this been lyrically for you? Has this been like especially because like here in Drowned in My Sleep, yes, both of you, Evan and Jack, you can hear the emotion behind your voices in that song. So how has that been for you emotionally, should I say? How have you like come across with the lyrics? Was it a case of coming together?
Sorry.
No, go on.
Sorry. No, crack on it.
So yeah, like
Jack writes. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Carry on.
Right. Jack usually writes the lyrics. For me, I've said from the beginning, like I won't sing a song unless I personally relate to the lyrics. And the funny thing about Drowning in My Sleep, like I've always tried to be like the vocals I've grown up listening to are very much like the early Slipknot records, early Korn, where like you can actually hear him like almost like crying. It doesn't sound like a guy doing demonic vocals, it's a guy being raw and emotional. So that's always something I've tried to convey. But with Drowning in My Sleep specifically, it was a bit of a weird coincidence because Jack wrote that song. And the subject matter of the song related to me a lot at the time because I came out with a long-term relationship that ended very sour. And it was like that song, when it came to recording, arrived at the perfect time because for me, that was almost like a little bit of closure on that for me. Given the subject matter, like I found my experience matched up perfectly, exactly with what was going on at the time with the lyrics. So I believe anyway that probably helped with my performance quite a bit because I do believe if you're singing emotional songs, you should be emotional essentially, even if you just sing them. You need to portray that emotion.
Should be able to feel what you're singing. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like you want it to be as relatable as possible.
And you can hear it both of you, to be fair. Was it a bit of a personal one for yourself as well, Jack, when you were writing that?
Yeah, this might sound bad, but when I write lyrics, it's not always like I'm not like always getting my emotions onto the page. Often I kind of like take a feeling and elaborate on it, almost from like a narrative perspective. So I'm not saying I don't believe what I'm saying, because obviously I do, or I wouldn't do it. But often it's kind of more building a story than it is actually retelling my own experience. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
With Drowning in My Sleep, particularly, I accidentally, subconsciously, completely ripped off Under Oath because I had the phrase "just drowning in my sleep" was in my head, and I'm like, where has that come from? Like, and I just couldn't get it out of my head, and I was really taken with that one particular phrase. And wanted to build a song like around that, and it turns out that there is an Under Oath song called "It's Dangerous Business Walking Out of Your Front Door," where the main like sort of hook of that is "Drowning in my sleep, I'm drowning in my sleep," and obviously that I'd subconsciously listened to it, and it just buried itself right into like the back of my mind. and I kind of built the song around that one particular phrase. And then, you know, you've got the semantic fields of drowning and sleep, and kind of just built a story from it, really.
Yeah. Yourself, Dan, have you, like, do you contribute to the lyrics as well, out of curiosity?
No, not with this version of Collapse. When it was just me and Tom, I weirdly was the lead vocalist and played guitar for it as well. And then it was just Tom, and then his mate would come and fill in on bass every now and then. I went through a bit of a patch of just playing guitar more than bass. But I was doing lyrics then. But then before I met Evan and Jack. But then once we started up this version, I just gave it up and then just stayed with bass.
I was going to say, do you prefer the bass over guitar, out of curiosity? Or?
Yeah. I've always been a bass player, so I mean, I can play guitar, but I can't play as good as Jack can play guitar. I can do some bar chords and some simple chords and some hardcore kind of riffs, but yeah, bass is my first love.
That's your jam.
Yeah,
sweet,
absolutely.
So what's the story behind Serpent's Isle then? Because obviously they're the only two songs that we've heard so far.
Yeah.
So what's
Should we sum up in 3 words? Fuck the Tories. I'm being flippant. Like, it's more about the political class of the country in general. Obviously, again, being written during COVID, we had the whole fiasco there, and just the amount of like corruption and everything that was coming out in the newspapers every single day. Like, from the point of writing it to the point of it being released, I think we're on our 3rd prime minister, and you know, they've all been pretty equally shit. It's really just the frustration of feeling a bit powerless to the system, really, and just the contempt that the public are treated with.
It makes sense now after seeing that video, especially when you're all looking dapper in your suits, etc. And I'm beginning to see a pattern with northeast bands, by the way, that everyone doesn't seem to like the Tories.
You know, this leveling up bollocks. Like, you know, you see places like Richmond. I work in Richmond, and you know, North Yorkshire, and it is like, I'm not saying there's people there that don't need help, but they get more leveling up money than like Barnsley, which is one of the lowest economic places in the entire country.
Yeah.
And it's just, and obviously Richmond is Rishi Sunak's constituency, so it's just, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. And it's just, you almost don't want to think about it because it pisses you off so much.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's been an absolute shit couple of years, unfortunately. Just what has been the inspiration, the driving force behind writing this EP?
I don't. We had a conscious decision to make, didn't we? Like, because obviously we released a couple of singles, 3 singles, in fact, if you include Hopeless. And then it's like, do you want to keep
Freefall as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, so like Hopeless, then there was COVID break, Freefall, and Consume, and Freefall Reimagined. But we don't talk about that as much because Tom didn't like it. Sorry, shouldn't say that.
Was that a bit too melodic for Tom? Was it?
It was a contentious one. Like, it was. We wanted to release something to kind of fill a gap and tide us over.
So it was like,
and I've been working on it for fun because I just really enjoyed MIDI synths and stuff. And I thought it turned out quite nice, but I can see why it would be a bit jarring for like a metalcore band to do that.
So, what was the inspiration behind? You said you want to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we were just all kind of in unanimous agreement. We didn't really discuss it. We just wanted to do an EP, didn't we? We were like, right, we'll release some let's do an EP.
I think for me, part of it was obviously the first EP, the quality of it.
True, yeah.
Yeah, and like we didn't want people to like, but yeah, we had singles that sounded great, but then we had that first EP. The songs themselves are great, but the production wasn't up to snuff. Essentially, if you listen to that now compared to the new stuff, it's not comparable. But again, that's the time that's the way it was back then. We were doing it on the cheap. We just wanted music out.
Yeah.
But So I think it was basically like almost like let's do this new EP to replace the first EP, and like almost like consider the first EP a demo or something.
Where did you record the first EP?
Mostly in my bedroom.
Mostly in the
my
bedroom.
bedroom when I lived with my parents. Yeah.
And that's pretty much been the same process for this one as well.
More or less, yeah. In basically, like, I've got my own studio set up. Jack will come over here, record guitars. Tom will now go record drums with his mate, and Dan will record bass at his own house. And it's just basically everybody sends the files over. Me and Jack will track like loads of guitars. Spend like a weekend doing it. We'll track vocals. Spend ages doing that, and that's how the magic happens, really.
It's absolutely amazing where we've come to for recording now as a band, is it? Because everyone used to have to get together in the studio, record their parts, etc., and now everyone can just do it at home. You just don't have to leave.
See, that's the thing for me. With my first few bands, I have experienced recording music in a studio with like a hired producer and stuff, and I've actually found personally recording it at home, the end product tends to be way better.
I was just about to ask you, but do you prefer just to do it in your home, or would you prefer to be as a band in a studio? I would like
to work with a producer, like somebody to almost like guide us in a way, so it's like not just us, if you get what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, I think particularly for vocals,
like an outside voice.
I think with vocals as well, you sometimes because it's your body, you kind of need someone almost to coax the emotion and like the best take out of you. So I would quite like to work with an experienced person for vocals, but for guitar, I'm not as bothered. I'm happy to kind of just sit and take the time and do it in your living room.
Yeah.
I've done it with my previous band because like a few of them, because we were at uni, a lot of them did music tech. So we had like full access to the uni studio and stuff, and one of them did a placement year at a studio in Bradford, so we got to go there to record a couple of singles and stuff, and like it is really cool, having a day out at a studio. Yeah. But you've got such a finance versus time issue because of how expensive it is that you kind of worried that you need to get it all done. Yeah. Or you're going to end up with a shit ton of money, basically.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Basically,
money, like we've got like
best way to put it,
studios and seeing in it. So, but sorry, Evan, go on.
Best way to put it would, yeah, it's fine. Sorry. Best way to put it is probably like Jack said. You can either record it at home yourself, or spend an absolute fortune to have limited time in the studio, when the product will more or less, unless it's like a truly like trained ear, is going to more or less be similar.
Yeah, like hit the nail straight in the coffin, because how much is probably studio time? Just for like a week or something, it's probably $1,000, if that. That's just a rough guess. Do you know what I mean? That's just a rough guess. So yeah, it's just recording at home, and even like your big bands, like because obviously half of these guys live at opposite ends of the countries. Do you know what I mean? So it's pretty much how they do it as well. They'll all have their own little home studios, send it back and forth, record their bits and pieces. So yeah, that's pretty much how it's done now, isn't it?
Yeah, we live in an era where, like, if you want to have the absolute high-end best guitar amp to like record it through, you can just do it on a plug-in. You don't even need to go to the studio to do it. Yeah, I think that
if you got an iPhone, I don't know if it's still around, but back in the day, you had iRig. You can literally like plug your phone into a guitar. Do you know what I mean? So
I think with the first EP, one of the big errors we did make was probably recording real guitar through real amps. We'd like Evan and his mate built an isolation cabinet to put the massive wooden box to put the guitar cab in. And that was one of the things on it really with that EP, the guitar tones like when we put the lyric video for resiliency out, bearing in mind that was like our first ever release. One of the first comments on YouTube was the guitars sound like they were recorded on the Nokia 3310, which, like, in retrospect, that is a fantastic comment. Like, fair play. But it's not what you
indestructible. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely indestructible phone. That so that definitely, I would say, that's a bit of a compliment.
Yeah.
So who's mixing this? Bad Boys for you? Are you just doing it yourselves, or?
It was mixed by Robin Adams. I forget what his studio is called. That's
Paragon. Is it Paragon Audio?
It is Paragon Audio. Yeah.
Have you used him
He's
before?
worked with. No, this is our first time working with him. He's previously worked with.
Did the vocals for Architect, didn't he?
He does. He's done some vocal mixing for Architects. Yeah, that's not just a name dropping flex. That is just a fact.
Blood Youth as well. Was it Blood Youth he's worked with?
Yeah, I think he worked with Blood Youth a bit. He did the latest Cut Short singles as well, I think, if people are familiar with them.
So how did you come across him?
Our manager, Scott, he got us in touch with him. We were working with another studio, which we won't name, but like it was kind of just, it became a very arduous process and we didn't feel like it was actually ever going to get done properly. So we had one of them. It was like, do we want to wait and persist and be patient and plow forward, or do we kind of just need to start from scratch and try and go elsewhere? We obviously did go with the latter. Just got a point where like, look, we can't wait any longer for you to sort this out, so we're just gonna have to go elsewhere.
Yeah. Nice one. And to be fair, on the 2 songs that I've heard so far, he's done a cracking job mixing that for us. And I imagine you're probably going to be using them maybe more down the line, will you? Or
I don't think we've really established who we want to use going forwards. I think it's good to see who's around, and I think going forwards we've discussed that we're probably going to do singles for a bit again, and I think with that you have a bit of flexibility to kind of experiment with, you know, who does your mixes and stuff, and try and find like sounds, and you know, just, do you know what I mean, try and like refine your sound a bit more.
Yeah. So where can everyone find this absolute banger of an EP? Where's it going to be released?
All digital platforms.
All digital
platforms.
You had that answer prepared, didn't you, Robin?
Pardon?
Sounded like you had that prepared.
Basically, just Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Deezer, everywhere. That it's going to be on all audio digital platforms.
And I think I've already asked Evan about this, but will we get a physical copy?
I would like physical copies, maybe down the line, but not as of yet.
Not as of yet.
It's a demand versus cost thing. I think if loads of people get in touch and say, "Oh, I'd absolutely get one," then absolutely, why not? It would be really nice to have, you know, a few vinyls, but unfortunately, you can't just get a few vinyls. You have to get a big batch. So then you end up paying a lot of money to get that produced, and it just becomes kind of unfeasible for smaller bands.
I'd be first in line if you go vinyl.
I don't even have a vinyl player, but it would just be nice to have one as like a memento, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I'd love to get vinyls.
There'll be that fantastic little collector's items. Do you know what I mean? If you can like limit it to like a certain number, and then it's never released again on a vinyl. Do you know what I mean? And that to me, I would feel as if that would, oh shit, this isn't going to be, it's not going to get another reprint on vinyl. So say if you did like max it to 50 or 100 copies, oh shit, I've got to get one of these copies, because if I don't, then I'm not going to have it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I collect vinyl as well. I've got like there's a couple of vinyls I've got from like grindcore and power violence bands. Like there's one by a band called Fuck Pig. He only did 150 vinyls. I was fucking get them.
What a name, Fuck Pig.
Fuck Pig.
That's got to be. There's nothing more Geordie than that. Fuck Pig.
The album I've got bought 2 of their albums. I recommend you check them out. Actually, Fuck Pig, spelled F-U-K Pig, and the album's called Bastards.
Right. Well, if you're hanging around, you know what to request when we put it on. If it gets played, because it doesn't get like, obviously because of the name gets like, nope, too extreme, not playing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you even like cassettes might be a good little idea for you.
Cassettes are coming back.
Yeah, I think as well, like, just apologies if this is a latter question that I've kind of preempted, but like the artwork as well that Aaron Finch did for us, I think it is so nice, like the artwork he's done. So it'd be really nice to have that kind of in a physical copy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. He has done it. And what did you say the name of the artist was?
Aaron Finch. He's
Aaron
in the
Finch.
Uncharted, isn't he?
Ooh,
He plays-
Yes, he's the key. I think he's the keyboardist of the Uncharted.
Ah, right. Nice one. Well, hello there. But he's done an absolute cracking job on that cover, and it's absolutely beautiful. And like you just said, I would love to see that on a vinyl.
He's done all of our since the first EP. That one he didn't do. Rob Bedford did that from Borough. He works for Juice Studios now. I think he might run Juice Studios actually.
Yes, Juice Studios is his company.
Yeah, but then Aaron's done all the other singles and the EP, except the singles from the EP. Just to confuse matters, I did with Midjourney, like an AI app.
Yeah.
On Discord, so that was quite fun. Just because you needed artwork to be able to promote the singles in the way that we wanted to, but then again, just getting like 4 different pieces of art, it just all gets quite expensive. So we were like, let's give this AI thing a go, and I think some of the results were quite cool actually.
And I was going to say you have music videos on top of that as well. Is it
Yes.
Dark North Media? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
They've done a cracking job as well. I've seen them, like a few people who's used them now. I think Trent Kill's used them as well.
Yeah, he's our manager.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it? Oh, right.
Yeah, he's Trent Kill's manager as well.
Is he? Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
There we go then. There you go. You learn something new every day. Well, he's done an absolutely fantastic job. Very, very well produced. Absolutely amazing. I think when me and Dak Imogen, the guy who's done your photographs before,
Yes.
when we first heard yourselves and seen your videos, I was like, holy shit, this is very well produced. This is amazing. So
just to go off topic a little bit.
Okay.
How did you actually find out about us?
It was just a case of just searching through Instagram. That's what I normally do when it comes to bands, just having a search through Instagram, have a look for bands, particularly from the Northeast. We featured you a couple of weeks. I don't even think it was a couple of weeks. It was a couple of months prior, just after the Metal to the Masses final, or Cast and Tefra won.
Oh yes.
So after I pretty much got from Bloodstock, that was pretty much it after that. And then Dan from Dark Imogen messaged us, have you heard of Collapse of Colour? I says, yeah, we featured them on chat before, on stream. Then basically he said, I've been asked to do the photographs. And then we went to Think Tank and I saw you live. Well, I saw you live for the first time anyway.
He got some sick shots at that, show.
Mate, he's an absolute fantastic photographer. He's got some skills with that camera, really. He really does. And
yeah, I think we're gonna want to use him a lot more for some of the shows going forward. So if you're listening, bro,
he's actually in chat. He's me moderator, one with the green sword.
Oh well,
He's one with the green sword. Kearns Rosa. That's him.
Yeah, got some work for you.
Oh well, there you go. He says he's there. But ever since I started the music streams, pretty much about a year and a half ago, nearly, he's pretty much been with us since the start. So,
Nice.
Yeah, like I say, he's got some sick skills with a camera, and he's his partner as well. Sarah, I'm not sure if you've spoken to her yet, but she does some cracking stuff with like band patches. So if you need patches or anything like that.
Ooh, I do want to get some patches done, right?
Yes, she's done some. She's done Cass and Tefras and Sorrow. He's for Scott from Sorrow. She's done a massive big back patch for a denim jacket. Which if you go and check the photo section in the Discord server, which I believe is all joined now, you can see it there in all its glory because it's absolutely mint. And so if you want patches, she's your gal.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Collapse of Colour on your battle jacket.
Definitely. There you go. That'll be cool.
I'd wear it on my battle jacket, and I'm part of the fucking band.
Why not?
You wear our merch all the time, Dan.
You've got to.
Oh yeah.
Promote yourself.
You're gonna promote it somehow.
Exactly. I do it when I go to gigs. I've always got
Hey.
I've got my own hoodie on with me Beardmo Baggins Twitch logo on the back. So I always do it as well. So there's no wrong.
I go to the gym looking like a billboard. I'll have the beanie on, I'll have the t-shirt on, and I'll be in the gym working out, and I'll just be a walking collapse of colour billboard.
Shameless self-promotion, isn't it?
Yeah, shameless, absolutely shameless.
There's no wrong with that. There's no wrong with that. I think we had a bit of a crack with Simon from Sorrow and Scott as well. They're DJs, and no shame. They play their own tunes at their DJ sets. So why not? Why
I would.
Exactly. I would do it as well. It'd be absolutely brilliant. Oh, by the way, new band here from the Northeast. There we go, my band. So why not? So yeah, promote yourselves, boys. That's what I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we can expect from you in the future, as we're getting a little bit off topic?
More sad songs.
More sad.
That's probably a given.
More sad songs, more screamy songs.
Angsty, screamy, emo songs. With some open zero chugs. I feel like that's guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Yes.
Brilliant. Stuff that we can destroy brain cells to when we're headbanging.
Yes.
You can headbang, but you can also cry. So
Yes.
Crying headbanging. Right, I've got to dig it. This is awesome, just crying. This is brilliant. If you've got mascara on, just black mascara running down and everything.
oh,
I love
perfect. Absolutely perfect.
And I know, obviously, one gig that you've got lined up on the 19th of August, which is Get Heavy Fest.
Yes.
Any other shows that you've gotten lined up that anyone in chat that can come along to?
I don't know what's confirmed and what's not with some of them. So definite confirmed ones. March 7th, we are playing with October Ends, I Set to Kill, and Psycho Village at Trillions. That's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like 15, jamming out to Deadly Weapons by I Set to Kill, the one with Craig Mabbitt from Escape the Fate. So that's going to be a sick one, that. We've got headlining the third day of Mindfest in September at Trillions again. That's going to be unreal, that one. That's what a bill that is, those 3 days. Like,
yeah, sound
unreal.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'll go have a check my shifts for the March 7th one. I can't remember. But yeah, just like what Dan's just said, those 3 days do look rather epic. Like, it's going to be a good weekend that for Mindfest and for an absolute great cause. Do you know what I mean?
And just what a wealth of talent there is, like, in the Northeast. It's not obviously like when you compare, like, you know, we'll say Newcastle because that is like the biggest population centre in the Northeast. Like, when you compare the scene there to like London and Manchester, there aren't the opportunities there, but there are so many talented bands. It's ridiculous.
I think I've said this with pretty much every band that I've had on so far. You guys are the 7th, I remember off the top of my head. And yeah, the Northeast scene is just, it's amazing. Do you know what I mean?
And then you've got, dickheads like Chris Miles saying that unsigned bands are all shit.
I just read that this morning. That this morning. It was like, what a tosspot.
Yeah.
You know
I saw that this morning, and I was
like,
he clearly doesn't listen to any unsigned artists.
No, he clearly doesn't. And
or if he is, he's looking in the wrong places.
The support that you guys give each other as well. You know what I mean? There's no competition between each other. Do you know what I mean? You all just help each other. You all promote each other's stuff at the end of the day, especially on your Instagrams, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So that's why. That's for one. I absolutely love this scene, and it's one of the reasons why I do this stream, because the Northeast scene to me is just fantastic. And when I say the Northeast, I cover all of that. You know what I mean? Newcastle, Middlesbrough, Darlington, Hartlepool. Do you know what I mean? Durham, etc. Everywhere. It's just amazing. So many talented bands, and yeah. What else can you say? So I think we're pretty much coming towards the end. So before we do draw our winner of the Collapse of Colour bundle. Would anyone like to answer or ask some questions in the chat to Collapse of Colour?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
And while we'll wait for everyone's to what's your take on venues taking 15% of merch sales?
Bullshit. It's bullshit.
Bullshit, yeah.
Give bands to cut the beer money off. That's my take.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, well said. Short and sweet. Next one. Oh, well, our first questions come in. And I had a feeling this one was going to come. What's your Greg's order? You're from the Northeast. You've got to have a Greg's order.
Oh.
I don't actually eat anything like that, so I'm like, I'll just have a sausage roll.
Just a sausage roll.
Simple. Yeah. Classic.
It would either have to be the chicken and stuff and baguette, or it would have to be the southern fried chicken baguette.
Ooh. And Jack?
If, like, I'm a bit like Dan, I'm quite health conscious, but if I was saying, you know, fuck it and having a binge, steak, bacon, and ice bun.
Oh, good old steak bake. Can't have gone wrong with a steak bake, you know that.
Nah. Meat and pastry, like, what's not to like?
Exactly. I love Christmas time for Greg, to be honest with you, just for the festive bakes. Just for the festive bakes.
Too right, yeah.
We'll go on from Summers Grove, 1989. How long have you boys been playing together?
Yeah, so we formed just at the end of 2017, but we didn't actually get playing together for a little bit, did we?
No, it was more for at least the first 6 months, I want to say. It was like you guys would come over mine and we'd like record songs, like you'd record your guitar, Dan would record his bass, get songs together, and then after about 6 months is when we actually started rehearsing.
Yeah, because right at the start as well, because do you remember I said I was kind of more of a vocalist than an actual guitar player? Like, back when I first joined the band, my only amp was my Line 6 Spider. Guitar players all massacre me now in the chat. But so I had to save up to get an actual amp and stuff as well. So it was kind of until then I couldn't really do any gigs so yeah, it took a while for us to actually kind of get into the swing of that.
I think we just wanted to have a collection of songs there to have a set as well before we started. We just wanted to...
Yeah, and obviously doing only originals. Like, we didn't add any covers to the set or anything, so that just took a bit longer than, you know, it could have if we just threw a load of covers in.
Did you do any gigs just playing covers before you?
No, our first gig was more or less exactly a year after we formed. Like, say we, just for argument's sake, formed in December of 2017. Our first gig wasn't until December of 2018.
Right. So you took
that
time to put the songs together.
We've only ever done one cover, and it was an ill-advised cover of Day Man from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia at the is it the Georgian in Stockton?
Yeah, the Georgian for the Nephilim album
launch show.
Nice.
And we underestimated how Always Sunny in Philadelphia is one of the best sitcoms out there, and we 100%. Maybe had the place was full, and we maybe had 2 people singing along with us.
Yeah, I think we have.
So we were like, "What? Nobody's heard of Always Sunny?"
Yeah.
Disgraceful, that like.
Or maybe the cover was just that bad that people didn't recognise it. That's also possible.
More likely.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have heard that. You should have recorded it, unless there's a video somewhere on YouTube.
There might be. I don't know.
I'll have to go and searching after this.
If stream. I want to see it as well.
I'll have to do some research after the stream. So Iman has asked. Iman, sorry. Would you guys like a little review of the EP by Unicorn Squad?
Yes.
Yes.
Feel free to do anything you would like.
There we go.
She always shouts our stuff out. So
she does.
Yeah.
She's shared obviously this this interview on all her platforms as well. So big shout out to Iman. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much for all the support. It's sometimes with Insta, it's a bit weird because you don't know people's actual names because it obviously pops up with like the account name. So it's nice to be able to like get a name and say thank you.
Yeah. Treacle Truffle, if you had to pick one song that you feel represents metal, what song would you pick?
What represents metal as a whole?
He just says what
song? Like our song, or like one of our songs, or like just metal as a whole.
Do you want to elaborate? So, do you mean one of their songs, Treacle, or just a song that they're a fan of?
It's a hard question.
It is. While we're waiting for him to get back, apparently I've missed some other questions here. Don't know where I've missed questions. Ms. Dream Warrior, random one. You mentioned metalcore and deathcore earlier on. Have you ever heard of the band Pint Glass?
Yes.
So thoughts?
Good. Very good.
Very good.
I like very chunky riffs.
I have not heard Pint Glass, so
I'm not either. So
I would like that played after this. Iman again. Favorite colors?
Black, red,
purple, purple.
Apparently, I've missed. What's the collapse of color? What's the collapse of Tephra tour gonna happen, or when's it gonna happen?
One day.
That should happen. That is a very good question. A very good point.
Yes. I would like to go on tour with those guys because I've known a lot of them since like my very first band. I've known Sean, Nathan, and Ryan for about 10 years now, I think. And we've only ever played shows together, like the one-off ones. I would like to go on tour with them.
Nice.
I kind of an outsider to the scene because like I'm a bit more of a Yorkshireman than a Northeastman in truth. So kind of coming in, I didn't really have any contacts or know anyone, but like the guys in Tephra have all been so supportive. Like since day one, I just like to give them a shout out as well because they've all been absolutely like top lads.
They support everyone, them lads. Do you know that? Everyone, even myself. Do you know what I mean? So they got
100%.
Just sound lads, aren't they? You kind of
big up Tephra.
Yeah, but that tour, just the name of the tour as well. Collapse of Tephra sounds pretty good. Sounds like that'll be a cracking show.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That would have to be a joint headline. That he's kind of
on that tour. Every night we have to do Roots Bloody Roots together at the end of every set. Like both bands on stage doing Roots Bloody Roots.
Excuse me, Evan. We agreed S Club 7 reach.
Oh yes, S Club 7. That's what we agreed on in the last show.
So that's fine by me.
All Zombie Girl says cast in colour.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah.
We'll do an EP split.
Yeah. Oh, too right.
Yeah. All you do a song. All you do a song. Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Imagine you playing that together. All you's on stage. Be like
pretty crowded, wasn't it? Yeah.
Slipknot, everyone on stage together. Two drummers.
Yeah. I remember in Heart's Wake and North Lane did that. They did like a little split and actually performed the songs all together, and that was really sick. It's just it's all supposed to be about community, so that kind of shit needs to happen more.
Definitely. And one more. We'll take the last one. What is your opinion on the price of Freddos?
Scandalous.
I mean,
it's fucking shocking.
I think my opinion is the same as everyone else's.
What's the world coming to with that? Isn't it? It's absolutely abysmal. What is it now?
If I was in the chat, I would reply with that meme of that guy where it's like too damn high.
Too damn.
That is what I would say about the price of Freddos.
Definitely. I mean, what are the price now? 150 or something.
Fuck off! No way.
What?
I don't know. Like I said, that's been a long time since almost 50 pence now, apparently. And now back in my day, they were like 20 odd pence, if that.
Well, 10p when I was there.
Yeah, I'm sure they were like 10 pence once over. I
Was
remember you used to be able to get those little tiny, like they were just loose sweets in a tiny little piece of package, and that big, and they used to be 1 pence. You can't get them anymore.
Fruit salads and blackjacks and shit.
Oh, the old 50
Yeah, blackjacks.
The old 50p mix-ups.
No, you used to be able to buy individual ones, like that big,
right.
for 1 pence. Yeah.
I don't know, I can't remember what I did yesterday, to be honest with you, so...
Well, like the ice cream, the 99 ice creams weren't... They're like 150 or more now, and they used to be literally 99. Isn't that
it's like there's now actually for a quid in the pound shop anymore, is there? Like that's
Nope.
Mad, isn't it?
I miss a good curly whirly, to be honest with you. Actually, I reminds me.
This is tangential, but they've just discontinued Lil, haven't they?
Really?
Yeah. Like I can't think of the last time I actually wanted a Lil, but then when I heard that out, I was like, well, I want one now.
Yeah. The best thing they could do for their company is just stop it, and now everyone wants one.
Yeah.
People have hands of Lil for like $1,000.
Maybe it's a marketing tool. Maybe it's the we're going to stop it, but then we're going to bring it back, and then everyone scans it back. Maybe it could be a marketing scam. Do you know what I mean? Maybe. Who knows? Wheat. So, I think that cracking. Thank you very much for that, lads. It's been a cracking night. I've loved that.
It's been a pleasure.
No worries. This has obviously been recorded as well, and I'll get it uploaded to YouTube right after at some point tonight. I'll try and get it on for first thing tomorrow morning. But
cool.
Lovely.
Let's get our draw gun. See who's gonna win the bundle.
Yes. See who's won.
We've got a fair few. We had 3 at the start of this. We're now up to 12 people for this. So who could it be? Who could it be? So let's get that. Let's get that closed. It's now closed. No one can now enter. Who is our winner? Iman has won.
Hey! Congratulations!
Well done, Iman. Brilliant. No way. You have won the I believe it's the Reaper t-shirt. Is that correct? 'Cause you designed it yourself, Jack?
Yeah.
I just remember from your Facebook because I designed it, and I'll get wrong if no one buys it.
Yeah.
So Iman, lads, how do you want Iman to messages?
Just
DM
inbox either. Yeah, just either inbox our Instagram or our Facebook and just let us know your size, your details, and I'll get it all posted off to you.
Sweet. There we go then. So, I've been Beardbo Baggins. They have been Collapse of Colour. Amazing. At midnight, hope he's going to hang around. We have got a few hours to hang around, but we'll take some song requests from yourselves. And then at midnight, we'll be playing that bad boy of an EP, which I cannot wait.
I'll be in the chat.
You'll be in the chat.
I hope everyone enjoys it, because that's why we do this, isn't it? So
exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wanted to resonate with people ultimately.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's it, lads and lasses. I hope you've all had a cracking time in chat. And we'll see you all really soon. This will be on YouTube, hopefully for first thing in the morning, if anyone has missed it, or if you're joining us late. So hang around. We will be back in, say, about 10 minutes. Just going to take a quick break. And we'll see you soon, guys.
Take care.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Take care. Ta-da.
Bye.